Hello there, YouTube, and welcome to a 30-degree Friday the 27th. Second to the last day of this month of February it is. It's only 28. No leap year this year. But yeah, it's 36 now. It actually feels very warm for 36 degrees. I don't think there's any chance of rain through Sunday or through Monday. I think Tuesday the rain starts kicking in or something, I don't recall. But anyway, I'm taking advantage of this nice weather and loving it. And yeah, holy moly! And oh, look at that, starting to bud. Oh man, oh yeah, look at that little tree there. Hot ziggity. Spring is about to be sprung. And not this weekend, but the following weekend on March 8th, Sunday, March 8th, the clocks get shifted forward an hour. And that's when the nice long days start to begin. Ah, dang. All right, welcome to the day. 44 degrees, pure sunshine, and absolutely gorgeous out there.
It is.
Yeah,
it is pretty.
It's gonna be nice. It's supposed to be 52.
Yeah.
Said 51 and we got 52. Maybe we'll have 53 today.
Maybe.
Mama,
Yes,
let's
Papa.
bust out a Friday.
All right.
All right. Have yourself a wonderful day.
You too.
All right. Love you. See you. Bye.
I love you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
On to the 2011 RT-S that I was showing you parts for yesterday. I don't know why that window is just giving me that cast. I don't remember. Maybe it's something new with the iPhone 17s or something. Boy, that guy keeps this thing in great shape. I mean, looking here at the throttle bodies, how clean they are. That means when they're clean, someone's been keeping the oil change correctly. That's weird that doesn't have the odor clamp there. So somebody's definitely been in this thing before. Well, those O2 or map sensor hoses, yeah, that's not factory there either. Those Velcro wrap straps. But other than that, everything kind of looks like it's all in the same place. Interesting. I wonder why they were in there. Could have had a P1614, whatever that code was, when the throttle body was bad. You don't want them to go bad now, because the throttle bodies are no longer available. So this is one you definitely do not want to short run, because all that moisture going through them throttle bodies, it will eat them, and they are a goner. You can't get them. You gotta try to find one. I mean, how many totaled out Spyders are there around that you can get parts for, at a salvage yard or something? Oh, I was noticing I should have done that while the thing was still on the ground. I seen this. Oh man, it's way up there. Yeah, well, anyway, when I was talking about I'm not gonna do this so you can see it. I think I'm too close for the camera to focus. That's the old hard and soft suspension buttons. What that should have said is high and low, because nothing got harder or nothing got softer. And then this has got the old brake release, but it also has the electronic trunk release. Remember that? I think in 2012 that was gone, or maybe it was 13. Had so many problems with that they finally just took them off. And I mean, no one's ever second guessed having to turn a key to undo your trunk. And it was only available, when you shut the thing off, you got that period before the bike boots all the way down. You only had a few seconds to reach up there and click that thing, where you had to turn the key back on or stick the key in there and open the trunk like normal. These ones, the old battery sitting inside there. And this, I've told you this several times, people think that's a good ground source, but it's a 6mm bolt that's going into that plug right there is a 8mm hole. So they stick a 6mm bolt with a nylock nut on the back side of it. Well, they'll get in there and they'll take their fancy little battery operated zip gun trying to get that thing out. Well, it loosens that nut, and now you lose your ground. If you go down the road and the bike does all kinds of erratic things, well, you can't get to that nut. You need to take the whole rear trunk assembly off to get to that. I found a way. It's sketchy to say the least, but there's a way to do it. And this is where the large amperage fuses were. The rest of them were up front. Where now, you know, from 13 and newer, all the fuses are in those two boxes. BRP uses two boxes on all their Spyders. Even the Red Rock, there's one out front, and then there's one like you guys seen when I was putting the Red Rock together. But this is another thing that's common. This noise suppression foam, it just starts to deteriorate. That doesn't mean that little critters been in here. This thing looks very, I don't know where he keeps it, but it's great. No signs of critters. The common places you see it. But that just falls apart. And also inside this noise suppression panel, I probably got it so bared I can't get to it. There's one here if I can get to it. Yeah. All right, maybe I can show it to you this way. But watch when I touch it. See my fingerprints in it? Well, that's the first part of it. You know the air filters on the little Hondas that I showed you? You know how they just, even though you keep them oiled and do whatever, they have a lifespan. And you pull them things out and it just falls to pieces. Remember, I took the DR filter out of there and just, I mean, it's still wet with oil. With it wet with oil, how does it rot? I know foam eventually rots. But, yeah, even well-oiled ones will do it. But, anyway, you can see this is all noise suppression because these motors were, in BRP new, they're quite noisy. If you run one of these things with all the covers off, you know, a customer that hasn't been around theirs with all the covers off are pretty shocked. Yeah, definitely been in here because this heat reflectant stuff, yeah, it tears into that when you're trying to take the air box out. So yeah, somebody's definitely, it's almost all gone out of that. These things were all faced with that stuff. But, you know, the heat up there is just, I don't know, wow, it wasn't really worth putting all that stuff on there. It was actually a pain to keep from destroying it. I've got like a large, you know, the plastic, like a paint scraper thing, and just slide that thing in there and hold it up there while you're fighting the airbox lid out of there, and that won't rip it up. It'll just slide. It actually slides on that plastic. Yeah. GPS stuff. It's got the old original Zumo 660 on there, and I noticed when I was putting it up here that it just says Garmin, and it's not going any further, you know. So anyway, I look at that thing and I'm going, why is that not moving to the next step, you know? And it's kind of really dim. It's not lit up like they normally are. Well, look in the upper left-hand corner, it says insert battery. So either the battery is so bad that the Garmin doesn't see it, or literally it doesn't have a battery in it. Cracks me up, them old DPSs. That's some old, big old honkers. That thing, looks like it's got a car starter. That's what's powering that thing, giving you the power steering. And if you get into trouble, the assist with VSS. Remember that 2013 that got out of hand? That was back in 2013. And man, I spent all this time. BRP was having me do all these tests, and then I think because you called them, then they didn't have case files you do everything online now. And anyway, I call back and tell them the what I had found on the latest test. You should have seen the notes on that RO. It was crazy. And anyway, he goes, you didn't order anything for that, or I forget what it was. He goes, you need to stop. He goes, don't whatever. He goes, just stop right now. He goes, within a week there's going to be a bulletin on that. And what it turned out to be is because you remember the 2013s were supposed to be the 1330s. So the frame and everything was all the 1330. We didn't know that. We knew there's a bunch of changes and they handled different, and there's weird things, plastic things that looks like something goes there, but it's not there. But what had happened when they were inserting the ball joints and the A-arms, the machine or whatever was over pressurizing them. There's probably a robot or something was doing it. Oh, look at that. These are old solid tie rods. They went to a hollow, much wider one, because a large, that's why all your axles are hollow. It gives them way more strength. I remember when they started doing that, they're larger, but they're hollow, and I'm going, I don't know if I trust this dirt bike with a hollow axle. Well, the reality is they're super strong that way. And, the way it was explained to me at one of the tech school things, because somebody else had brought it up. It goes, think of the fork tubes that have been on motorcycles for eons. Look at the abuse they go through, the weight of the motorcycle that they're holding up, and the jumps and whatever. Those hollow tubes are probably one of the strongest parts of the bike. And why do you think the tube is all tubular? If it was that crucial, they'd use solid pieces on them. That's why the aluminum frames on they figured that stuff out now, but when Honda and them started using the aluminum frames on the motocross bikes, people complained they were too rigid, because the chromoly tubed frames, although they're incredibly strong, had some give. They had some flex to them, and people enjoyed that. It was a rougher ride with the aluminum frame, and it was really hard to get the suspension right because the frame wasn't reacting to anything. The frame was just solid. Interesting stuff. All the years. It's funny when you come across something of old motorcycles, when I was a kid, and even when I first started riding, you look at those things and you just think how simple all that was back then. I remember being so glad when everything went to electronic ignition. And then, fuel injection, when that first came out, it was overcomplicated, like grossly overcomplicated. These computers that are, half the size of a suitcase or a what do you call it? Chate, or, the business suitcase. And, anyway, it's crazy. And then now they're just so simple. It's like the Honda dirt bikes, this little tiny, ECM and a little small throttle body, and they never fail. They just literally never fail. If you leave gas in there old enough, you do need to, you can't drain them, but if it sits long enough, the line, going from the pump to the throttle body, well, eventually it'll go bad. It takes out the injector and all kinds of stuff. But I mean, they got to sit for quite a while. And usually the ones that are that way, somebody was very, very, very seldom riding it. So the fuel that was going through the system was all rotted anyway. We'll take out the fuel pumps and injectors, and yeah, that gets really expensive. Look at the price of a carburetor, because they're rare now. They are just astronomically expensive, because they're rare as hen's teeth. They're not being mass produced like the old days. There's a very few bikes still made that still have carburetors. It's older, kind of fathered in bikes that, if you don't change them, they don't have to meet the new rules. That's why you'll see some of these old Kawasaki's and stuff and going, isn't that a motor that's like back in the 80s? Yep. They don't change it. They don't have to meet all the new stuff and go, put all electronics on, and they can just stamp those things out. That's why they're at a very reasonable price as well. They just keep building the same old thing. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Anyway, man, it is hot down here. No, it's not. Must be having an old man hot flash or something. It's only 68 degrees in here. But comparatively speaking, that's pretty warm. Plus I'm wearing a Climb base layer to boot. Oh, I met the gentleman that the Spyder that I broke the vents in. He said, don't worry about those things. I think it was already on there when he purchased it. But anyway, so I got to meet him today. When I pulled in, I seen a truck with a enclosed trailer out there, and then I come down here and I go, oh, Charlie done picked up his Spyder. I can say his name because he comments all the time. If you guys want to talk to him, look in the comments. He's been a frequent comment here lately. Just the nicest guy ever. And anyway, so I go upstairs, to get Kelly her coffee and me some apple cider. And as soon as I walk through the door, they go, oh, he goes, Charlie's here picking up his Spyder. And I go, oh, he goes, what? He goes, I told him you weren't here yet. And he goes, I think he's already gone. I said, well, there's a truck out towards the, fourth plane out there with a black enclosed trailer. He goes, yeah, that was his. And so I go walk down to the writer's lounge to grab Kelly some coffee, and I see the truck out there. I said, well, before I get coffee and cider, I walked out there. I said, you must be, I seen the Spyder when I got up. He had the door still open. I seen the Spyder as I walked up. I said, you must be Charlie. Super nice guy. And boy, I got to give him a thank you. I can't discuss here, but yeah, wow. If you're watching this, Charlie, wow. Thank you. Thank you very much. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, very cool guy. Love meeting these guys, especially when you're physically working on their motorcycle and you've never met the person before, and they live a long ways away. And it's pretty cool where he turns out to live. I can't discuss it in detail because then you'd know where it was. But I was in his town. I'll just say I was in his town on the 2019 road trip. Really cool town. In a really very cool area up there. Oh man, is it beautiful up there. But yeah, really cool guy. Dude, he says it's a 4-hour trip each way. And he set that thing up to bring it down here. He wanted to go that far. That's cool. It's crazy to people. We get them coming from Idaho and all kinds of places to have their stuff done here. Just don't do it on a trip, because if it's something big, it needs to go to cable, because I am very slow and methodical at stuff. I don't want you to spend a fortune sitting in a hotel somewhere or whatever. Just, be prepared. If you're in a rush and on a schedule, you'll have to have cable do it. He does a good job. And he knows the Spyders. He's fully factory trained. In fact, it was last year before, he went and did the Spyder school. So he's, he did all the other testing, and then you got to have that week-long, is it week or 2 weeks? I don't remember. In-house training. That was really good. And he even said, he goes, wow, I've been working on Spyders for years. I think this is the second or third shop he worked for. And he goes, I thought I knew him inside and out. And he goes, man, you go to school, it's amazing the things you didn't know. I said, I remember the feeling well. Crazy. Anyway, I'm sitting here yammering on about all kinds of crazy stuff, using up my video here. I'm gonna get to work on this thing. Thanks for let me bend your ear. So I went up and got my coolant swapped over to the green coolant. The guy that brought it down blew the bag out. So I got another bag. I had to kind of cradle the thing as I went upstairs. But anyway, so I got the right coolant for it. It was, so Kelly looked the thing up. The right coolant was on the RO. Just the wrong coolant was pulled. Crazy, huh? See, this is the one radiator they have. It's thicker than the 1330s, but about, other than being thicker, it's about the same size as a 1330, but you have two of them on those. And boy, when that fan's running, she pummels some air out of that thing. That's why they do not want you covering that thing up. And one of the symptoms of covering that thing up is it takes out the oil pump. But that being said, since we put them gray seals on there, that gray seal's been around, geez, probably 10 years now. Long time. But anyway, even people that refuse to take the covers off, even though you're doing harm to the engine because it's not running as cool as it's supposed to, we haven't seen the seals go out again. This is gonna be really hard to get from this far away, but with all this warm weather, look at the snow. It's still up in those mountains. It's probably not focusing on it. It's probably getting trees or something else. That's pretty wild, huh? Well, boys and girls, it's just about go time. When I walk out of here today, the world's gonna spin on its head. And Kelly and I are gonna go along for the ride and be back here the following week. Michaela, our daughter-in-law, Michaela, Ryan's beautiful bride, she's gonna take us to the airport, and so we don't have to worry about spending the crazy money, even for long-term storage. Like, what the heck? Kelly found this thing where a Super 8 motel there in Portland, for like $8 a day, and I'm looking around, I'm going, Kelly, we lived 12 years in Portland. I'm not leaving a car. I don't care what kind of cameras they say they have. Look at the cameras we have around here and what people, you won't believe the cameras we have here. And, you can't see their faces or anything like that, so you can't prosecute. Your stuff is just gone. The cameras don't sway anybody anymore. They're gonna take what they're gonna take. But anyway, that's the point where I start getting crazy nervous. That's when Kelly goes, I hate when you travel. I'm just like, everything I need to know, everything's perfect before I'm comfortable. And even when we're driving there, I'll be going, did I get this? Did I get that? And I'll think of something. There'll be something. Man, you ought to see the size of my Apple Note for just this trip. Imagine what it's going to be when we go to Ireland, when you're like a whole nother country. You forget something that time, you're just either you didn't really need it or you're going to do without. But anyway, that's no big deal. I'm not worried about, I know the rules with the, carry on and the lithium batteries for the cameras, all that stuff. Been studying that quite a bit. So I've had several people, I'm still just nervous Nilly I was speaking with Charlie today. I'm sorry about the comments and not answering. I said, I'm just absorbed with making sure everything's okay. Do I have everything? Am I missing something? Because at this point, there's no going back. We could run to Walmart's tomorrow or even Sunday, but Sunday, Sunday's going to be a very short day for us. So anyway, about time to roll. So I thought I'd come on and just say goodbye to the shop You guys aren't going to see any shop videos for a while. And I'll probably get super behind on them because these event things, remember when I went to Georgia, it's like there's not a whole lot of time to be building videos. It's just go, go, go. I record them every day. I stack them in a day with all the photos and videos and everything. And, when I get time, I'll sit down and compile each day as I click along. As always, I record every day. It's just not going to get released every day, which is probably a good thing because we're under strict rules and not give specifics about anything. So I will be very minimally, if I build them, I'll be a day late. But don't worry, I'll record every single day. So anyway, that's going to be a wrap. Well, hello there, YouTube. So we stopped at Walmart's right quick to get some little piddly things, stuff for traveling, the little small bottles of stuff. So you don't have to, you get those ones that, the bottles that you can put the labels on, say what it is, and you fill it in. They always leak. Always. Yeah. We got that, and then we found a couple of little bags that kind of help sort Kelly and I stuff in the check-in bag. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. It'd be nice to keep things organized.
Try anyway.
Yeah, because we need to have stuff that that I can't go into details, but stuff that needs to come out of there for the ride that you can grab quick.
Yeah.
And,
but it will all work out.
It will all work out. Mm-hmm. I won't be in a panic until it's going on. But then once you get going, everything's happening. You'll just be enjoying everything, and it'll be fun. You'll meet some cool people. Mm-hmm. Some people I've watched for a while and never met. They live so far away that chances of meeting them are pretty slim, But
that'd be cool.
I met a lot of people from a long ways away that you wouldn't think you'd ever meet.
Yeah.
Which has been cool over the years. I think on that, we're going to bounce.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. We will talk to you tomorrow. Same Smoak time, same Smoak channel. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And you guys have an amazing Saturday or Sunday.
Heck yeah. All right. See you tomorrow.
Yep.
Early or late, it's going to be sometime tomorrow.
But it will be tomorrow.
It'll be tomorrow. All right. Appreciate you watching now. Yes. Bye-bye.